Methodist Church. Retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
On air, online, and on the phone. You can listen to us anywhere. News Radio WGNS is Rutherford County's place to talk.
Catch the Action Line every weekday morning at 8, followed by the Roundtable at 9. Information you trust from leaders you know, here on News Radio WGNS.
WGNS Murfreesboro, W270AF Murfreesboro, W263AI Murfreesboro, Smyrna. We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the WGNS Action Line, talking with Rutherford County newsmakers about what matters most to you. Now, your host, Brian Barrett.
All right, good morning. Good to have you with us here on this Tuesday, Action Line. And today we're going to be talking about all things Rutherford County Library System with our guest here this morning. And a reminder that you can listen live on wgnsradio.com. We'll have the podcast up shortly if you have to leave us but want to check that out, wgnsradio.com. And a reminder as well about tomorrow. Tomorrow on the show, we've got our friends from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office stopping by to give us an update. Bart will be in for that show tomorrow morning with you. But it is my pleasure to welcome in IT support specialist Amanda Caperton and with the Tech Center, Kevin Robertson joining us here today. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, Kevin, you and I go way back. And how long have you been at the library?
I've been at the library 13 years, just this past November.
Yeah.
And then I was at the newspaper for a long time.
Yeah.
For over a decade. So, yeah. And then, like we were just talking about, we went to high school together. So,
yeah. It's hard to remember those high school days. It's been so long ago.
I didn't say I remembered it.
Yeah. You know, we wrote in Roman numerals back in those days. So, and Amanda is here with us as well. And glad you're here. And we were just reminiscing a little bit about your father and how and Frank and how much he meant to this community, and it's good to see you continuing in that legacy and helping folks with the library system. Good to have you.
I feel like he'd be pretty excited that I was here today.
Absolutely. Now, if you only had a camera around your neck all the time,
documenting everything.
Absolutely, everything. So, a lot to talk about here this morning, and Kevin, the library is not your normal, here are all of the books and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of a multimedia center anymore.
Yeah, and all libraries are kind of moving in that direction because you have ebooks that you can download from home, and that comes with when new books come out, we don't have to store as many on the floor. Takes up less space, makes room for more activities, makes room for 3D printers, things you can do with your hands, tactile things, get your feet wet on the entry level of a lot of things that could lead to a career. Because if you're a young person coming in learning how to 3D print, you're learning how to use CAD software, you're learning how the mechanics of the machine work. We have laser cutters, we have coding classes, so you could start getting your feet wet on Python coding or HTML coding, website building. We offer all those things just so you can try things and see what paths you want to take to self-teach.
I'm going back to Oakland again,
Sure.
But do you take any of the CAD classes or architecture classes out there?
I took Mr. House's architecture class for 3 years, and he wouldn't let us on the computers till the second or third year.
Right.
And that was back when AutoCAD took over the whole computer. It wasn't you went to Windows and went into AutoCAD. You booted up the computer and it booted into AutoCAD.
Yeah.
And the mouse was special, and it had a pad with crosshairs on it where you would pull the tools. The menus and tools were on the mouse pad, not on the screen.
Wow.
And I don't even know what version of AutoCAD you would call that.
Maybe minus 0.1 or something.
But my third year, we had to do a full set of house plans, and that did help years later when full circle come back to CAD design for 3D printing.
I felt like we had a class together. You said you were a year ahead of me, and that's right. But that was the class because I thought that's what I wanted to do before radio hit.
Yeah.
So, I talk about that with Jason Kelton a lot, you know, and Jason was in those classes with us out at Kelton's Hardware and Pet. So, pretty cool. And now you're kind of working in that world 2024. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I said, when I started messing with 3D printers, pulled up the CAD software to do, I've sort of done this. I mean, it was an old clunky version.
Oh, sure.
I remembered the concepts, and then all I had to do was learn the new software.
So for someone interested in maybe doing that or 3D printing and they have no idea where to start, is this over their head? Is there a way to learn? How does that work?
No, you just, you can come into the tech and see the printers in action. And then once a week, at least once a week, we do an orientation to show you how to load and clean the printers. And then we can do a small crash course on how to do the CAD software. We occasionally offer a class on the beginning CAD software. But I'll be honest, if you sit and mess with it, you can teach yourself pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's lots of YouTube videos on how to use it. For the simple things that you're going to put on a 3D printer, little trinkets and figurines, a lot of things are already built in Thingiverse is the biggest online library of things you can download that are pre-designed. Thingiverse.
Wow, Thingiverse.
But there's tons of copies of that.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea that you think's original, always go to Google and make sure somebody hasn't already done it, so you're not reinventing the wheel when you're trying to 3D print something.
Gotcha.
In a lot of cases, somebody's already done the battery cover on the back of your TV remote and all the little things you think you need to 3D print for convenience.
But you could pull that up and 3D print one for yourself if you
where
wanted,
you've
right?
lost one. There's all that stuff is in there.
Wow,
all the little pieces and parts.
That is so interesting. I've seen a lot of videos. Radio engineering, it's not like it's my thing, but sometimes you have to know what plug goes where and you know, if there's a screw missing or something like that. And a lot of those videos now you're seeing people 3D printing, you know, like a replacement screw or something like that.
Yeah, and it seems overwhelming if you've never messed with it. But if you come in, like I said, watch the printers, do the orientation, give it a shot, and I guarantee it makes more sense. And I'd say half of people come in, think of something they really want to print by the time they leave. You know,
is 3D printing, how long has that been around? Estimate.
Well, that's funny. The code predates the actual machine. The G code that we use that moves the head around and extrudes the plastic, that goes back to a stereolithography.
Really?
Like maybe the 60s or 70s. I don't know how far back that goes. And it's almost like the technology was always there. We just didn't do it. Same thing with drones. Like there's always been 4 motors. I think the software had to catch up to, the motor control software had to catch up to what people wanted to do with it. So, your first 3D printer probably did happen back in the 70s in a lab somewhere, but available to the consumer like it is today, probably about 15 years ago.
We have obviously, with every technological thing that comes about, we take leaps and bounds every year, it seems like. So a lot's happened in 15 years, even bringing it down to the consumer level and, to a public level like a library.
Yeah. We thought it would be like a microwave where eventually everybody would just have a 3D printer in the corner of their house, and if they needed something, they'd print it. But it's pretty slow. I think people are realizing they'd rather just go somewhere where there's 3D printers and use those, unless you have a shop, and then it's pretty convenient to have that.
It's not going a mile a minute like, you know, a copy machine or anything,
It takes a few hours to print something big.
Does it really? Yeah. So give us an idea of a size and how long it would take.
Something the size of your thumb would take 45 minutes to an hour maybe. Something the size of a medium coffee cup, maybe up to... Well, the coffee cup being empty makes it quicker, so that might not be as bad. If you had a solid object, that would take longer.
I was going to say you can adjust the density of the print, which also increases the time.
Yeah. So we've had prints that are 8 to 12 hours, depending on how big they are. And it's something, it's running. You just keep an eye on it. Very low risk of a fire hazard, but you want to keep checking. And you want to make sure it doesn't fail, and then it starts turning into spaghetti and you have to start over. So we try to keep the printers as calibrated as possible. That's an ongoing uphill Sisyphus type battle where you're constantly tweaking the printer.
So it's not something that you can start and then, you know, walk away and 12 hours later come back.
Well, and we have to be careful about leaving it overnight. We don't, like I said, for fire hazard, we don't want to close and have a print going all night. It happens. We do it sometimes. But if somebody has a big print, we encourage them to come in earlier in the day and get it started.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating. And all of this is at the tech center, right?
Yes. And we have laser cutters. We now have 4 3D printers in a row. We had some donated to us last year. I've got 2 of those running right currently. We have a vinyl cutter. We have the Glowforge laser cutter, which Amanda can talk about. Lots of retro video games and things to do. And then a computer lab and laptops and meeting rooms.
It's not your typical library.
No.
No, it's a shelfless library. If you want a book, we're going to hand you the Libby app and tell you to download.
There you go.
You can do your holds. You can place holds and pick them up at the tech. So if you want a physical copy of a book, we can have it meet you there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice to do, too. And the tech center is just off Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard?
Yes, it's on the back of the Hobgood campus at the corner of Minerva and Jupiter.
Okay. Very good. As the IT support specialist, Amanda, does that mean that, you know, normally an IT person within a company is at one place and popping around and putting out fires? That's not necessarily your job, is it?
Well, so I have a unique role at the Technology Engagement Center where I run the social media and the website for the system. So I do hop around, not necessarily to fix people's broken devices, but to put them on camera and tell them they're going to be we're going to be doing a trend today. Don't worry about the details. Just mouth these words and I'm going to put it on Instagram and I promise people will like it.
So you're kind of social media is a big part of what you do. Then.
Yes. Yeah, I manage our Facebook and our Instagram, and we've recently gotten back started on TikTok, but I upload there less frequently because there's not a whole lot of follow through with people seeing a TikTok and coming to the library.
You know, that's such a tough thing to do because there are so many social platforms, and it seems like many of them are different in terms of format and what you can do and what you can upload. And, you know, is it horizontal? Is it vertical? You know, all that stuff. It gets really complicated sometimes.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how things perform differently depending on what platform you put them on. But yeah.
Kevin, you mentioned the Glowforge, right? And so I guess it's been about a year and a half ago, I was thinking about some type of hobby for myself, and I wanted to get, or I was thinking about a laser cutter, and I just don't have the ventilated room to be able to do that, and that's an important part of that, isn't it?
Oh, certainly.
I ran into that at home. I bought myself a laser cutter, and I don't have the proper ventilation, and it's neat and fun, but I really need a separate shop or something.
Do you have to take it outside to do it?
Well, it's not that bad, but
okay.
If I were going to do hundreds of cuts, it would probably put soot all over the inside of my house.
Yeah.
So I've got to get that worked out. But.
So do you work with that particular device?
Yes, I am the Glowforge instructor at the Technology Engagement Center, and I do an orientation on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. And I want to just put out there that Christmas is coming. So if you want to make some personalized gifts for people, then you can take the orientation with me on Saturday, and all you need is some, wood, acrylic, plywood, even Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, those places, they have material. Some of them specifically have like Glowforge's manufactured material, the stuff that they are like, put this in the machine, please. And you can pretty much learn how to use it in a couple of hours, and it's a lot faster than 3D printing. No offense, Kevin.
It's pretty fast. A simple design prints very fast on the Glowforge.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, you can cut and engrave on a wide variety of materials. So if there's something out there you're like, I want to just give this gift a little personal touch, I think that's a really good way to do it. It's how I make my Christmas gifts a lot of the times, making Christmas ornaments for people or engraving on whatever the gift is that I'm going to give them. And if people want to take that, you just need to email us at info-tec@rclstn.org, and we can get you signed up.
So that's Rutherford County Library System, Tennessee, right?
.org,
yeah. RCLSTN.org. And you're doing those every Saturday?
Every Saturday at 1 o'clock, unless there's, an emergency.
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
A snow day or
most
we're
Saturdays
closed.
It gets canceled every once in a while.
I guess
or moved over to another day,
especially this time of the year, holidays and such. You mentioned a good way to personalize holiday gifts, and I've noticed, like, if you search on Amazon, for instance, you can buy 20 acrylic blanks.
Yes.
Well, those acrylic blanks, somebody probably has just cut out of acrylic and is selling them online somewhere. So you can do all of that there to make a Christmas ornament, for instance.
100%. It's one of those things where I feel like the more you use it, the more you realize you can use it. There's so many use cases for it that I feel like if you give it it's the time and you don't get intimidated by it, I feel like it's so easy to pick up. And then I find people coming in all the time finding new little ways to utilize it in their daily life. I had one person who made a t-shirt folder. So she has a t-shirt shop. She found a pattern or whatever for a file for a t-shirt folder, came in, printed it off, and so now she can fold her t-shirts faster.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
I had not heard of it before she came in. So
it's like 3 folds and your t-shirt's perfectly folded all the right way.
And
last year we had a couple brought in a cutting board for a wedding anniversary.
Yes.
And it turned out beautiful.
Oh,
they
was
just bought
gorgeous.
in the cutting board. They did a bunch of test prints to make sure it was going to look the way they wanted to. And it was fine wood, and they put the couple's name and the years on there, and it looked great.
That's awesome. Yeah. You know, taking a gift like that and putting the personalized touch on it just makes it that much more special. So very cool. So if you want to learn how to use the Glowforge laser cutter and engraver, Saturdays at 1 o'clock, and just email info-tech, TEC, at rclstn.org to get on the schedule. And we're going to come back, talk more about the Rutherford County Library System as we continue. You're listening into the Action Line here from News Radio, WGNS. A check of news, traffic, and weather, all coming up here. Stay with us. It's 8:31.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
When it comes to your home, memories and sentimental value are priceless. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or we can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. That's Farrah Construction. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Hey, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Come in for, guitars, keyboards, drums, We have lessons for anything with strings, mandolin, guitar, bass, you name it. We have lessons for anything with keys, Music World and Drummer's Den, and a professional drum teacher as well. So if you need to learn to play something, we have you covered. Come on in, buy you an instrument, start learning today at Music World and Drummer's Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A turning point in the Russia-Ukraine war. Correspondent Holly Williams is in Ukraine.
Today marks 1,000 days of war. 1,000 days since Vladimir Putin sent his tanks and warplanes into Ukraine. Ukraine can now fight back with American-supplied ATACMS after the U.S. gave permission in recent days for the missiles to be used on targets deep inside Russia. Some of the ATACMS have a range of close to 200 miles.
Vladimir Putin signed a new nuclear doctrine today, lowering the threshold under which Russia might use nuclear weapons to respond. In a social media post, President-elect Trump confirms he's ready to declare a national emergency to use the military to help carry out a mass deportation. Correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns has more from West Palm Beach.
The Trump team is preparing some executive orders to use in the first days of the administration to withstand some legal challenges to this plan.
CBS News has learned 2 women told the House Ethics Committee Mr. Trump's choice for Attorney General Matt Gaetz paid them via Venmo to have sex and travel with him. One of them was allegedly 17 at the time. Their lawyer, Joel Lepard, says his clients want lawmakers to release their findings.
The American people would know, and they could decide if that's the person they want to be the next Attorney General of the United States.
Gaetz denies any wrongdoing. A judge in Wyoming has struck down 2 state abortion bans, including the first in the nation that prohibits using pills to end pregnancies. Legal contributor Jill Levinson.
The judge said that the bans would harm women's health, well-being, and livelihoods, and that violated state law.
A new global study is looking into why some people survive even the worst cancers. Correspondent Vicki Barker is at the Foreign Desk.
Cancer doctors in more than 40 countries will comb their national databanks to track down that tiny percentage of cancer patients who've survived long after being diagnosed with some of the most aggressive forms of the disease. The theory: some survivors develop tumors with genetic quirks that render them particularly susceptible to cancer drugs.
There's a little bit of relief on the way for parts of the east, some parched from lack of precipitation. Meteorologist Stephanie Abrams at the Weather Channel.
Thanks to tropical moisture, including remnants of Sarah, streaming north, combining with the boundary. There's a threat for severe weather from Louisiana to Florida, and the heaviest rain will fall throughout the southeast, while it will be much lighter into the Midwest and the Northeast.
New York City has issued its first drought warning in more than 20 years. Dow futures off 328. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Some famous
Good morning. There's a wreck out in Rutherford County that just occurred, 24 westbound. It's around the 90-mile marker, affecting all that traffic coming in from Coffee County through that stretch of Rutherford County. Still heavy out on the west side, but it's moving right now. 40 east there at Charlotte Pike, all the way up to White Bridge Road, and it continues to run a little bit heavy on 24 westbound up through the Antioch area as you come past Bell Road. Pre-order your holiday feast right now from Princess Hot Chicken. Fried turkeys, green bean casserole. It's so delicious. Check it out at Princess
TexasHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, here's your Rutherford weather forecast.
We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms here this afternoon. Cloudy skies, a high in the upper 60s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low near 50. Wednesday, becoming sunny, high of 60. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 66.
And the Action Line is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. The holiday season starts in downtown Murfreesboro. The annual lighting of the tree, powered by MTE, is Friday, December 6th, 5 until 8 p.m. Caroling, Santa, sparkling tree and all. Come downtown, celebrate Christmas on December 6th, powered by MTE.
The Action Line on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
We're talking all things Rutherford County Library System today. Kevin Robertson with the, I wrote Rob down because I knew what to say and then I messed it up. Kevin Robertson with the Tech Center and IT Specialist Amanda Caperton here in studio. So we've talked about several things, but Amanda, coming up on the 23rd, you're going to be teaching a class on identifying AI?
Yes, AI and fake news, so trusted sources versus non-trusted sources, and sort of just artificial intelligence is getting a little smarter than it has been. It's getting like way more realistic with every passing month, in my opinion. And we're getting to that point where people are starting to get confused about something that is a real image and something that is generated by a computer. So I just talk about different sort of things you can do while you're just scrolling online and looking at news stories and things like that, to be able to tell the difference between something that was written by an AI and actually written by a human, or an AI image that is potentially fooling you or could fool you, to sort of keep you from believing something online that isn't even real. Yeah. Because they are getting so, like, it used to be just, okay, you can look at the hands and kind of see if there's too many fingers or something like that, because as much as real artists have trouble with hands and feet, so do computers. They struggle with it just as much. So that used to be a really good telltale sign of if you're looking at a real image or not, but they're getting a lot better at it. So we just talk about some of the different methods you can use, and that's going to be at Limeball Library on November 3rd. Or 23rd, sorry, at 10 in the morning.
Okay, yeah. And so that's Saturday.
Yes.
And that's at the library in Civic Plaza.
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting that you bring this part up, because we do a lot of work here in Photoshop, just because, you know, editing photos for news stories and things of that nature.
Yes.
And, you know, the new version of Photoshop is out with its own kind of AI tool that you can generate from photos and things like that. Have you played with that at all?
Not on Photoshop, but on other softwares. I feel like pretty much everything is throwing an AI tool in there. And that is one thing that I do like to talk about, is that there are use cases for AI that actually do just make, you know, a faster workflow. There's nothing inherently dangerous about it. So the difference between an AI tool like that and what we're talking about is that sort of intent to fool somebody, or that sort of just the difference between like misinformation and disinformation.
So I brought this up because I made this in Photoshop and just said, you know, I need a turkey Thanksgiving meal, whatever, and that's what it shot out. So
that's the generative.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is, like, it's very realistic. There's just some things, you know, it's more of like upon further inspection. What do you see about this image? Like, does it look a little too airbrushed, like that object is not necessarily real? Or if sometimes with people, even if the hands are like perfect, you can see their hair kind of flow into the background a little bit. It's just like little things, but yeah.
Well, now that I notice this, it's like, why would you have a table out in the middle of a huge field?
Yes,
maybe?
Context. That's one thing we talk about too, is like, what is the context of the image? Like there'll be ones where like people are sitting in the middle of the road in like a busy intersection, and it's just like, you can tell that that's very unlikely that they went out in the middle of the road and took these like incredibly beautiful, high quality pictures.
Yeah. It can be a helpful tool, But I guess with anything, it can be used to mislead, maliciously, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just the idea of, we use this kind of stuff, Photoshop too, to make satirical images and news stories and things like that. But because it's so believable, people lose track of the fact that it's supposed to be a joke or an exaggerated story of
I've
some
seen
sort.
so much of that during the political season that we just went through, you know. But there are also people who will do this just to do weird, funny things.
Yes.
Like there was a photo on X of a celebrity waving, but his hands were actually feet or something. You know, it's just it's kind of really strange. But I mean, so you have to learn how to think about, you know, is this being serious? Are they joking?
Mm-hmm.
Is this to mislead? All of those things kind of go into that, right?
Yes, 100%. And it's a thing we talk about in the class, where it's about making sure we're thinking critically.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to remember to do when we're just trying to like be on the internet and get away from other things in our daily lives. So it's a lot of, you know, check the source, and, you know, you may get really emotional about an article you're reading and then find out that it's on The Onion, and that's not even, they're not even trying to tell you anything. They're just trying to make you laugh. So it's a lot of, what's the intention of the image that you're seeing, considering why is it trying to get my attention? Is it really trying to tell me something, or is it just trying to like keep me on Facebook for 10 more minutes a day?
You know, there was a local satirical type of website out there, because I remember them calling the bridge over Broad Bridgie McBridgeface or something like that, you know.
Yes.
And you know, that all of that was, I mean, if you have a sense of humor, you know, they were, but they did get pretty good with some folks. Yeah. So just how to spot that and see that. So that is Saturday, November 23rd, 10 a.m. at the Linebaugh Library downtown. Talk about what's going on at the Myrtle Glanton Lord Library in Patterson Park.
Yes. So MGL Library has decided to do their own little fall reading program. It's very easy to participate. It's a bingo reading challenge. So they have bingo cards for the younger readers and bingo cards for the adults. You can go pick them up at MGL Library, and all you have to do is get a bingo. So they all have a different sort of challenge on them, like read a book by a local author, read a book outside, you know, different places or types of books to read. There's like reader's choice slots that you can fit in, like your free spaces. And once you get a bingo, you can go back to MGL Library, turn in your card, and get a small prize. They have prizes for adults and prizes for kids. The funds were provided by Friends of Linebaugh Library, so we thank them for that. And if you want to pick up a card, you've got the rest of November to do it. You could pick up a card on November 29th and still do this challenge in a day and bring it back on November 30th. So I would, you know, urge you to not procrastinate. But if you forget about this until 2 days before the end of November, you're not late. You can go get a sheet. You can either get one at MGL inside of the Patterson Park Community Center. You don't need a Patterson Park membership to enter the library. You just go up to the front desk and tell them you're going to MGL Library, and they'll let you right on through. The Technology Engagement Center also has them printed out. So if you're at the Technology Engagement Center and you happen to see a bingo card, just swipe it and try to get yourself a little prize.
Awesome. I guess saying Tech Center is kind of redundant, isn't it?
That's why I always say Technology Engagement Center, because I try so hard to get people in the mindset that there's not an H
or
in
we
the
just
tech.
say the tech, like this big model.
Yeah,
the tech. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. When you said that, it just, and I was looking at my sheet, it's like tech, the C in tech is for center, so it's the Tech Center. But anyway, awesome. And that's going on all this month of November. I'm sure also as we close up, last final thoughts here, but as we get to the holiday season, just keep in mind there are going to be holiday schedules, so it may not be, you know, I know Christmas Day is on a Wednesday, all kinds of things like that.
Yes, we're closed Christmas Eve, Christmas. We close early on New Year's Eve. We close at 5 o'clock on New Year's Eve, and then we're closed New Year's Day.
Okay, good to know. Very good. Well, thanks both of you for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
From the Rutherford County Library System, IT support specialist Amanda Caperton, and with the tech, it's Kevin Robertson joining us here on News Radio of WGNS and the Action Line. Our show continues. More about the library system coming up as we continue. Hope you'll stay tuned.
This is Peter Demas, and our family is inviting your family to come eat with us at Demas's restaurant. The salmon is my favorite, and then we have a variation that's on a regular menu for the salmon imperial that has some Alfredo, some crab, some shrimp on it. But the salmon is fresh, and we cut it fresh, but all of our fish you can either get blackened or you can get it with our regular seasoned salt, and either way you do it is just out of this world. And I'm not a fish person, but I will eat it at Demas's all the time. Come eat with us at Demas's restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
We're excited to announce that Capstar Bank is now officially a division of Old National Bank. All those friends you've made while banking here over the years, well, they're still there. And so are the delicious, warm, homemade cookies.
In Murfreesboro at 2230 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Everything you enjoyed at Capstar, still there at Old National Bank. Old National Bank, ready to serve you.
Old National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
CBS News Brief. The Kremlin claims Ukraine has used U.S.-made long-range missiles to strike deep inside Russia. The BBC's Steve Rosenberg in Moscow.
It claimed that Russian air defense systems had intercepted 5 of the missiles and damaged 1, and that there were no casualties.
In a social media post, President-elect Trump says he plans to declare a national emergency as part of his plan for mass deportations. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
That would allow Trump to tap into national additional resources and funding needed to carry out a program of this scale.
It would include use of the military. CBS News has learned 2 women, one of them just 17 at the time, told the House Ethics Committee Mr. Trump's Attorney General pick Matt Gaetz paid to have sex and travel with him. Their attorney, Joe Lepard, claims Gaetz used code words for illegal drugs.
Representative Gaetz would use terms like, can you make sure that there are party favors present, or who's in charge of the party favors?
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Hello from the Rutherford County Library System. This is Amanda bringing you library news and events from our 5 branches around the county and what's going on at your library system. It's not too late to join in on MGL's Fall Reading Program. Until November 30th, our branch inside Patterson Park Community Center will offer 2 types of bingo cards, one for younger readers and one for adults, for patrons to fill out throughout the month. These cards are available to pick up and turn in at MGL's circulation desk right when you enter the library or at the TEC as available. All ages are welcome to participate. To receive prizes, completed cards must be returned by November 30th to MGL's circulation desk. For any questions about this program, email info-mgl@rclstn.org. Once again, that's info-mgl@rclstn.org. And a special thanks to Friends of Linebaugh Library for providing funds for those who complete their bingo sheets to receive a small prize. Also, Linebaugh Public Library has partnered with Murfreesboro City Schools for our Pony Express program to give students and teachers in the schools access to the Rutherford County Library System's collection. At the beginning of the school term, school media specialists sent library card applications home for parents or guardians to fill out and return to school. Once the student or teacher accounts are active, they can place items in the RCLS collection on hold to be picked up at their school. Each item gets a due date receipt filled out with the student's school, name, and due date. The Pony Express driver typically picks up items 2 to 3 times a week for delivery. For more information, talk to your school librarian or email Lisa Robert at lgrobert@rclstn.org. Again, that's lgrobert@rclstn.org. And remember, you are not required to be an RCLS cardholder to attend live events and groups or to visit the library. Also, all branches of the Rutherford County Library System will be closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday, November 28th and Friday, November 29th, so that patrons and staff can enjoy the holiday with their family and friends. Now let's hear from Linebaugh Youth Services.
Hello, this is Katie Turner, Youth Services Coordinator at Linebaugh Public Library.
And this is Ollie Miller, Youth Services Assistant at Limeball.
We've been having so much fun with our Imagine Your Story Storytime theme. Discover classic and modern twists on fairy tales, folklore, princesses, and knights all season long. All ages storytimes are intended for children ages 2 to 8 and feature a mix of stories, songs, and puppet shows. All ages storytimes are held every Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 a.m.
For our littlest patrons, our Itty Bitty Storytimes are held each Thursday at 10 a.m. Itty Bitty Storytimes are intended for children ages 0 to 23 months and feature a mix of stories, scarf songs, finger plays, and lap bounces.
We have several fun events planned for our tweens and teens. We invite you to go for the gold in a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament on Saturday, November 23rd from 2 to 4 p.m. in the club room. November 30th is our next meeting for the Teen Anime and Manga Club, and the Teen Advisory Board will be meeting on December 7th.
Speaking of the Teen Advisory Board, they had some great ideas for the events in December. Join us on Saturday the 7th at 2 p.m. for a Christmas card workshop. Help kick off our Christmas card drive for local seniors by making your own festive holiday cards with collage and paper craft. We'll also have a teen book exchange party on Saturday, December 21st. Please bring a gently used, pre-wrapped book and join in to swap, trade, and chat with other book lovers. If you don't have a book to swap, contact Youth Services. The Friends of Limeball Library will be offering a special deal for participating teens to come select a book from the used bookstore in the week leading up to the event. Holiday refreshments will be served and festive wear is highly encouraged.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm thrilled to announce that we will once again be hosting Santa in Mrs. Claus on Wednesday, December 11th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll have a special story time with Mrs. Claus, and then you can have your picture taken with Santa. Cookies and crafts will also be provided.
And go ahead and mark your calendars for a Cinderella-themed countdown to noon party on New Year's Eve. Decorate a glass slipper or sneaker, enjoy a variety of other crafts, and celebrate the almost new year.
The Reading Pause program, Girls Who Code Club, sensory sessions with Love Learning Music, and Teen Advisory Board are all in full swing. For more information about any of Limeball Library's programs, please contact 615-893-4131, extension 114, visit our Youth Services page at rclstn.org, or follow us for all of our events on the RCLS Facebook page.
We hope to see you soon at Limeball.
Want to support your local library? Head to Smyrna Public Library's Scholastic Book Fair. We have something for everyone, from baby's first book to the latest young adult thrillers, as well as our ever-popular cookbooks. Plus, we will have lots of fun stocking stuffers such as scented markers, stackable highlights, posters, stickers, and more. Come visit us at Smyrna Public Library's Scholastic Book Fair, and that starts Monday, November 25th and runs through Friday, December 13th.
Hello everyone, and happy holiday season from the Technology Engagement Center. We have a lot of fun things happening over the next few weeks. I hope you come and join us. Every Thursday in November, we'll have a story time about gratitude, reading books, singing songs, and having some coloring fun. This story time is aimed at children to 4 years of age, but all are welcome. Our December theme will be winter. We're doing Dino-Vember and celebrating all things dinosaur this month for Tiny Tack and Tinker Tack. We're doing Dino-Vember and celebrating all things dinosaur this month. There'll be lots of fun dino science activities. Tiny Tack is aimed at children 2 to 4 years old, and Tinker Tack is for kids 5 to 7 years old, but everyone is always welcome. In December will be the Merry Makers. Come and prep for the joy of giving. These programs are free and open to the public. The last Saturday coding class will be on November 23rd due to the holidays. Our coding class has been very popular and directed toward building games. It's been a blast. Come to the last class of the season and help Chuck the Super Duck throw snowballs at piles of presents. For the Books and Brews ebook club, we will be reading the Hugo Award-winning novella Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. The title is available in the library stacks and in the cloud. Do check our calendar and Facebook page for specific details. The Sci-Fi Book Club will be reading the planned Sand County Almanac, but we will be putting off our meeting date until the 13th of December. The tech staff is planning a holiday open house for grown-ups on Friday, December 6th. Take a few moments for self-care and mindful making and find out all of the cool things you can do at this amazing library branch. Yes, it is on the same evening as the tree lighting on the downtown square in Murfreesboro, but there's no reason you can't enjoy both fabulous events. We are planning a Kids Maker event for December. To help prepare for the holidays, watch our website and social media for more details, which will be coming soon. Do remember our wonderful and free 3D print and Glowforge orientations. Nothing says thinking of you like a handmade gift. Our weekly services, computer basics, high-set ESL classes, and tech coaching will be ongoing, but with the holidays, do check the online calendar or give us a call to verify that your class is on schedule. And just a heads up, the tech will be taking a break from regular programming beginning December 16th and going through the new year. Looking forward to seeing you. Have a lovely holiday season.
The Rutherford County Library System comprises 6 branches and a bookmobile throughout Rutherford County, including Linebaugh, Smyrna, Eagleville, Patterson Park, the Technology Engagement Center, and the newly opened Historical Research Center. Remember, all RCLS events are free and open to the public unless otherwise stated. Please check our calendar at rclstn.org and social media for a full list of virtual and in-person programming and events. For a list of all the events you heard here today and more information, please call 615-893-4131 or visit rclstn.